Is this the way you should live your life?
Be strong, but not rude.
Be kind,
but not weak. Be bold, but not a bully. Be thoughtful,
but not lazy.
be humble, but not timid. Be proud, but not arrogant. To have humor, but without folly.
Get real lessons on life, finances, relationships. Get real with Dani Johnson.
Dani Johnson.
The Dani Johnson Show.
Dani Johnson Show. Dani Johnson Show.
Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. We really are so blessed that you decided to join us today, and I hope that you decide to join us tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. Here, 7 days a week, you can listen to the Dani Johnson Show on a number of different stations, both on radio, television, and 24/7 at DaniJohnson.com. This is the show that is designed to help you succeed in every area of your life. Did you hear me? Yes, you see, I believe that you were formed together in your mother's womb with a destiny in mind. I believe that you were put together with all the right parts to help you to succeed. Success is different for everybody. It is. We all have different idiosyncrasies about ourselves. We have different liabilities and we have different assets about ourselves. Born with different abilities and talents and skills. There is something inside of you that is saying there has to be more to life than what I'm living. But how do I get to the something else? Well, you're in the right place at the right time, because here on the Dani Johnson Show, we uncover important strategies. We uncover important principles to be able to help you go after those things that you desire, even to help you discover what they are. Because there's a lot of people out there in the world today that are trying to succeed at somebody else's dream. They're trying to become somebody that they are not. I'm a firm believer that who you are is enough, and it matches what your destiny is. So one of the first things in learning how to become successful is, figuring it out. What is success to you? You see, a man without a vision will perish, and that includes women too, and children. A human without a vision will perish. I once was a person with absolutely no vision at all. Come on, man. I grew up on welfare in a violently abusive home. Parents were drug infested. There was drugs around me 24/7 as I was growing up. When I moved out at 16 years old and went off to school in another state, it was like the first time I was not around a constant contact high from the weed that was being smoked all throughout the day. Not to mention the pills that were being popped and the white powder that was being snorted through a straw. Okay, I was surrounded by destructive behaviors. I was surrounded by verbal abuse, emotional abuse, violence, physical violence. And so I grew up as a kid just hoping that I'd marry some guy that wouldn't beat me or my children. That was my goal, right? This is not a vision. This isn't even a goal. I didn't have any idea that people like me could succeed in anything. At 17, I messed up my life, ended up pregnant out of wedlock, judged by the religious people that were around me, blamed well, I did get pregnant, but I was not the seductress that I was judged to be, or that I was told that I was. From there, I made some really bad choices. I ended up meeting a guy and marrying him after knowing him for 7 days. Ended up homeless within a few months with $2.03 to my name, a $35,000 debt, completely broke, 50 pounds overweight, and suicidal. However, I didn't stay there. I had learned some skill sets the year before after investing $25,000 into various different training seminars, teaching me about business, teaching me about money and life and people. I used those same exact skills to dig myself out of the pit that I dug all by myself. You see, I'm one of those people that if I fall into a pit, I get a shovel and I dig the pit even deeper. I don't know if you're like that, but that's definitely how I was at that time. Sometimes I still do that like an idiot. Anyway, so I started a business from the trunk of my car in a payphone booth. In my very first year, I made $250,000. By the end of my second year, I had made my first million. Today, I'm a multi-millionaire, international best-selling author and speaker, a radio and television show host, and this show goes all over the world. We have clients that are pulling this show off of the internet, off of the DaniJohnson.com app, and various different affiliates all over the country that are carrying the show. Never in a million years did I think that someone like me, uneducated, educated, would be writing books that has been taught in universities. Never in a million years did I think that someone like me, the most unpopular, rejected, dejected kid who grew up in a town of 700, would ever be on the Oprah Winfrey Show, would ever be the season premiere star of the ABC Secret Millionaire, be on hundreds and hundreds of television interviews with Fox and Friends and CNN and ABC and CBS and NBC, you name it. I've been on it, not to mention the whole spiritual world of the Benny Hinn's, the TBNs, you name it, CBN. I've grazed those stages, those platforms, and I never in a million years thought that I would be doing what I do today. But I can tell you this, that since I was knitted together in my mother's womb, something was planted inside of me. And it took other people in my life to begin to pull it out of me. And part of what had to happen is I had to have my past unraveled away from my neck. My past was choking me out. I had no vision, and it took other people planting vision inside of me before I started to believe that maybe I wasn't destined to the life in which I had seen lived by my family. That maybe somehow I could be different. That maybe somehow there's a different path, there is a different way. Maybe there's somehow I could choose to live a different life. And I'm so blessed that I made those choices. Now listen to me. I do not at all believe that I'm successful because of only me. I have become successful because of a God that I serve, who revealed in his owner's manual, even his love letter that he wrote to you and me, the best success book ever written, this incredible encyclopedia, if you will, just filled with knowledge about business and finance and family and friends and people in general, succeeding, your health, everything, sex. I mean, it's all inside of the same book. It's a profound book that I've learned how to use that book to teach me how to succeed in various different areas of my life. Now, that's not to say that I don't have some bad days or some big problems. I got huge problems and some horrible days that I've suffered through, some of which I've put on myself to suffer through, and in other ways, other people have made some bad choices and I've had to suffer through their bad choices. That's just called life. That best success book ever written shows us exactly how to manage those circumstances and to come out succeeding, come out on the other side, winning, did you hear me? Winning this game of life. Well, today we are going to tackle an important topic that is so important that it really just determines whether or not you really do become what you are called to be. That determines whether or not you get out of bed in the morning, whether or not you settle for mediocrity or if you go for the gold. That's vision. It's impossible to succeed without vision. And I mean impossible. You know, I've studied successful people for 2.5 decades, and I can tell you right now that every successful person I've ever studied, they all have a vision, including people that their success is their marriage. You know, been married for 50 years, still chasing each other around the house. Naked. Did she really just say that? Yeah, I did. I know I'm going to get some hate mail. Naked. But come on now. That's the kind of marriage you and I want, right? Not one that is filled with broiling, badgering, nagging, arguments, and contention, but that we actually make it across the finish line until death do us part. So for some people, that's success. For others, it's having $1 million or $1 billion for them. That's success. That's what they were wired for and want to become and be. And then for others, it's, man, freeing kids out of the sex trade. Whatever it is for you, I'm telling you right now, my friend, you've got to have a vision. Because if you don't have a vision, you will not go after it. Not only that, but your vision has to be bigger than paying off your bills. It has to be bigger than just making money. It's got to be bigger than that, because we can find ways to pay off bills and we can find ways of making money. You have to have a vision. And more importantly, you have to be one that helps to spur vision on in other humans, and especially the next generation. I remember when my kids were young, it dawned on me that maybe the same God that planted vision in me might have already planted vision inside of them. And as a mother of 5, now grandmother of 7, I have come to know and understand on a deeper level what happens when someone doesn't have vision and what happens when somebody does catch a vision, and the importance of being able to draw vision out of the next generation. Whether you gave birth to part of the next generation or not is completely irrelevant. If you're a teacher, obviously you need to draw a vision. If you're a social worker, you need to draw a vision out of people. If you're a counselor, you got to draw a vision out of these young people. But no matter what, you might be an auntie, an uncle, a grandparent. You could be a spiritual parent or a pseudo-parent, surrogate parent, whatever. Here's what I know, that in the world that we live in today, there is a lack of vision, huge lack of vision, especially in the next generation who is supposed to be leading our nation soon. They are going to be leading us. As we are old and gray and shriveled up and wrinkled and sagging, I'm not talking about our jeans sagging. I'm talking about what's in the jeans is sagging. I know, that was funny, huh? Anyway, you can laugh, it's okay. But it's the reality. We're going to be there. And there's a next generation that is rising up. And when I see that generation, I see a generation without a vision. I see a generation that is playing video games. When they're little, they're being put in front of an iPad or some kind of a handheld video game or mom's cell phone, and they're playing video games instead of engaging in conversation. At the dinner table, everybody has their little device. And now the dinner table is no longer a place to conversate and to dream and to talk about our day and struggles as well as triumphs that we've had that day. But instead, everybody has their own device. I remember having recently somebody at our dinner table, and I was just really kind of shocked. You know, I slaved and sweated and blood coming out of my forehead as I made this incredible meal. Not, but you understand what I'm saying. Actually, quite possibly, I was frying chicken. I have a few scars from frying chicken that day. But here we sit down to this amazing meal. I think I'm gonna fry chicken tonight for dinner. But here, that person had their iPhone at the dinner table, a guest, and was watching YouTube videos with one drumstick in one hand, cell phone in the other hand, watching YouTube videos and laughing. Not at all engaged in the family conversation. And yet that same person says, I don't feel like I'm welcome in this family. Really? Maybe you should leave your cell phone in your purse or in your pocket or in your car. That might be a good idea. You see, we've isolated ourselves, and this next generation, they don't even think about engaging in relationship, engaging in vision, but instead having no vision. This is Dani Johnson. We're going to talk more about pulling vision out of you and the next generation right after this.
Stay tuned to The Dani Johnson Show. There's more to come.
The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success.
Helping you get a grip on your priorities and your focus. The Dani Johnson Show.
Here's Dani Johnson.
Dani, they're just kids. I mean, they don't have a vision. They're too young to have a vision. They have no idea what they want to be when they grow up. You know what? Well, if you live in the United States of America, I can see how you feel that way. However, why don't you come along with me to Belize and meet my sister, Leonie. She's raised 650 kids over the last 25 years, and why don't you come with me to visit the 100 children she is raising right now? Yeah. You ask each one of those kids what do they want to be when they grow up, they know exactly what they want to be when they grow up. You come back over to the border and you come over into the United States of America and go to any city in this country and you ask kids of the same exact age, what do you want to be when you grow up? Like, I don't know what I want to be. I haven't really thought about it. There they are with their video games in their hand. There they are with junk food in the other hand. And they just finished sucking down a Red Bull. Wow, I can't figure out why you don't know what you want to be. It's disgusting, isn't it? And us parents, teachers, youth leaders, yeah, aunts, uncles, grandparents, we allow it to happen. We don't even think of it. We're like, who cares? They don't know what they want to be, Danny. And guess what? I don't know what I want to be when I grow up and I'm 55. Therein lies the problem. A man without a vision will perish. And friend, you and I got to join forces to do what we can to start pulling vision out of the next generation. Because right now their vision looks like this. Mom and Dad, you owe me some money. I want my new purse. I want my designer jeans. I want to shop at Abercrombie and Fitch. I want what I want, so give it to me. That's the vision they have. They have the vision of not wanting to work, not wanting to move up, not wanting to get new skills. They've got this vision of somehow I was born, ta-da, I'm here, give me everything that I want. That's who the future of the United States of America's hands are going to be in, friend. No, Danny, come on. We know better than that, honey. Oh, come on, Danny. You know, the elites are raising their kids to be successful. We don't have to worry about it, really. And who's going to vote those people in? The video gaming, overweight, obese, Red Bull drinking, junk food eating, hello? ATM machining, Mom and Dad, you owe me. That's who's going to vote those people in. Just think about it, friend. Hello? Wake up and smell the hummus. It is your job to pull vision out of this next generation. It's your job to plant seed of vision inside of them. It is our job to groom the next generation for success, and it is not our job to wait for the youth group leaders to do it. It's not our job to wait for the teachers to do it. It is our job. So friend, wake up. You got a job to do. Because I'm a little scared about what the next generation looks like right now. I'm a little scared that somehow out of the video game and the addicted to junk food generation is a generation that somehow is going to start businesses someday. How's that going to happen? When they're 21 years old and they're still playing video games. All of a sudden they're going to get this idea. They have no work ethic. They have no desire. And you're still paying their cell phone bill? Come on now. You're paying for their junk food? And you think that somehow that they're going to rise up one day and become an entrepreneur? Listen, friend, wake up. We have to start sowing vision in the next generation. We have to start pulling vision out of them. We have to start equipping them to succeed. We have to start grooming them for success. I'm not talking about teaching them to shave. I'm talking about begin to speak about the future, not condemning them, but speak into them that you can do it. Hey, anything is possible. Come on, buddy. What do you want to do? What are your natural gifting? What is your talents? What is inside of you that is saying, I got to do something? Because there is a vision in them. I sat down with a 16-year-old one time, and again, this has everything to do with success. You see, you are not as successful as you want to be because you lack vision or your vision's too small to get you out of bed. So there I am sitting across the table playing with my husband's cousin. She's my spiritual daughter. Her name is Laura. She gave birth to another son recently at home. Crazy kid. Anyway, so she was a kid without a vision. She was, and she battled with depression. She liked to play cards. She hated school. She hated life. She didn't like being one of 5 kids. The kid had no vision. I took a piece of paper and a pen, I put it in her hands, I said, I want you to write. What do you want me to write? What do you want to do with your life? You are 16 years old. You got the whole world in front of you. You could do anything you wanted to do. What do you want to do? I don't know. I said, Laura Lee, start writing, honey. Start writing. Before you die, what must you do? Well, I'd like to learn how to play the guitar. Great, write it down. That is stupid. Write it down. What else? And I kept drawing things out of her. When we continue, I'm going to tell the rest of Laura's story. You'll be shocked when you hear who she has become. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more, talking about vision for your life and vision for others right after this.
Hey, have you done a favor for your best friend yet? Then do it now. Share this program with them. The Dani Johnson Show, helping hundreds of thousands of people just like you make life more enjoyable and rewarding. The Dani Johnson Show.
A I'm so blessed that I found what is in Grooming the Next Generation for Success. This is a book that is being taught in universities around the world. It's been noted as the best book on parenting that has ever been written. Crazy, if you ask me. But the point is that this thing gets results. Get your copy today, 888-757-8880. Again, that's 888-757-8880, or go to DaniJohnson.com. That's DANI Johnson.com. Get your copy today.
Now, more of the Dani Johnson Show.
Where there is no vision, there is no hope, and it's really easy to lose hope because we have no vision. It's impossible to succeed, friend, if you have no vision. It's exactly what I was sitting across the table talking to my spiritual daughter, Laura Lee, when she was 16 years old. She had none. She had no goals. She had no desires. She had no nothing. This kid was a bump on a log, going nowhere, 16 years old. In a year and a half, she's going to be out on her own and going what? Doing what? Nothing. So I began to have her write down, come on, girl. What do you want to do? Well, I'd love to travel. Great. Where do you want to go? Just pick random places as though you actually could go. But there's no way I'll be able to go. My family is broke. I'll never be able to travel to places I want to go. Shush your mouth and tell me, where do you want to go? Your parents don't determine whether or not you get to go to these places. I want to go to Australia. Where else? France. Where else? London. Write them down. She started making a list of all these countries she wanted to go to. What else do you want to do? I want to be like you guys. Either I want to have a business or I want to work for you guys. Write it down. Write it down. Write it down. You never know. Well, she worked for us for 5 years learning how to build a business. She traveled all over the world, been to all the places and then some of the countries that she wrote down. Today, she is a mother of 2 babies, and she has a business. One of the things that was on that list was to be in the fashion world. Well, she owns her own clothing store, making a 6-figure income working 1 day a week. She manages her store from her house. She has a literal storefront store. It's called Runway Exchange. You can look it up on Facebook if you want, or look it up on the internet. Runway Exchange. It's in Sonora, California. This girl has a very successful business model. All would it start with? Pulling vision out of this girl who had no dreams. Today, she takes care of orphans, freeing kids out of the sex trade. Her husband has recently just ran for office in their local small town. They're influential in their area. She's not the bump on a log kid who used college to waste 4 years and $50,000. This is the kid who, again, to pull out a piece of paper or a pen, start writing down some things you want to do. Every single thing on her list has come to pass, and now this is my challenge to her of like, what's next, Laura? What's next? So we have got to groom the next generation with vision. Otherwise, they will be turning to what the rest of the kids out there are turning to. Video games, entertainment, movies, pornography, and you name it. Junk food. Come on now. Obesity, all kinds of addictions going nowhere. And the root of addictions is because there's no vision. So today, that's what we're talking about. What are you doing to pull vision out of the next generation? Whether your kids or somebody else's kids, what are you doing in order to do your part for society to make sure that we raise up a generation of people who believe that nothing is impossible, people who actually know where they're going, people who are reaching a destiny. So going over here to line 2, we've got Jerry from Memphis, Tennessee. Jerry, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, Dani. Thank you so much. My wife's son, Brandon, 2 years ago, came back to live with us from over in Texas somewhere. And he was spinning his wheels, and I got him aside after a couple of weeks of going nowhere, and I said, son, let me help you figure out what's in your heart. What really fascinates you? Because if you can do what's in your heart and earn a living at it, you'll never work a day in your life. You're going to love getting up and going to work. And that encouraged him to go to school. He's between semesters right now in culinary school.
Wow.
And he has landed it. Yeah, he's a great cook. And I know that's something you love. Anyway, he is currently assistant manager at a local pizza shop, national chain, and the owner of that franchise is very much aware of him. He doesn't want to be in the pizza shop the rest of his life. He wants to open a bakery with his fiance up in Chicago. So he's got, all of that. And there were a few bumps along the way, but it really stirred him to really take a look and see where he was headed.
That is so awesome that you tapped into something that he was interested in, something that he loved. So food, cooking, things of that nature. And then obviously it makes sense. Okay, well, if food is your thing, right? Cooking is your thing. You want to own a bakery. You want to own a restaurant. Then now you go and you get the education you need and you learn. Part of that education is working for somebody else who's already started that kind of a business. Learn from that business model. See what that business is all about. I'm really proud of you for doing that, especially in a boy. You know, Jerry, I don't know if you have looked across the country and just kind of seen this general consensus, especially in our sons, the sons of our nation who have no vision. It's generally them who are addicted to the video games. And why? Because they lack vision. And it's sad. So I'm so proud of you that it's your wife's son. That you didn't use that as an excuse, right? You didn't just sit there and go, well, you know, he's not my biological son, you know, so, oh, well, too bad, so sad. I ain't going to spend any time trying to help the kid figure himself out. You know, that's up to his father to do. Jerry, you're a real man. Jerry, you're a real father. Jerry, you're a real leader, because real men, real fathers, real leaders will pull vision out of the next generation and speak to the potential that's inside of that next generation and encourage them and love them and guide them. There needs to be more real men just like you out there. Jerry, thanks so much for sharing. And look at that. Look at the fruit of this. The kid is on his path of doing what was planted in him since he was knitted together in his mother's womb. You're awesome, and I appreciate you. Needs to be more guys out there like that. That's all I got to say. All right, we got Krista from Kokomo, Indiana. Kristen, welcome to the show.
Hi, Dani. Thank you. Well, last year, after attending my first Steps to Success in Cincinnati, I came home with something on my heart that you said, that you say over and over again. Nothing becomes dynamic until it becomes specific.
Yes.
And so when I came home, you know, I sat down with my family and talked about dreams. What do you want to do? And really it was very sad to me because my kids, who were 11, 12, and 22 at the time, said, well, what do you mean? Like what we dream at night? No, they had no idea. So I hadn't even instilled in them to have vision.
Okay, Krista, I want you to hold on. Krista, hold on, because I want to talk about this right here. This is really important. Now, as a mother, who were you expecting, subconsciously, who were you expecting to pull vision out of your kids?
That's a great question. Honestly, Dani, I didn't even have vision.
Right? And that's how it happens. When we don't have vision, we don't even think about our kids having vision. We don't.
Right.
And then, of course, let's go to the teachers, the poor, overworked, underpaid teachers.
Yes, I'm married to one.
So look at that. You're married to a teacher who, obviously, he's not pulling vision out of the students he is teaching. Because if he ain't pulling the vision out of his 3 kids, he certainly ain't pulling vision out of the students he's teaching.
Right.
We are living in a world that has no vision. And that's scary. Right? And let me ask you this. Did your parents sit you down and plant vision in you?
My parents always believed in me. And
but
anything
did they
I
plant vision in you?
But they didn't plant vision
Exactly.
in me, no.
Exactly. And they love you. They believed in you.
Right.
They encouraged you. But see, vision has to be planted. It has to be stirred. It has to be fed. It has to be built. And if it isn't, it dies. And a man without a vision will perish. Okay, so you're sitting down with your 3 kids. I love you, by the way. I love your transparency. I didn't say any of what I said for condemnation's sake. It is to make those that are listening go, oh my gosh. Yeah, who was I expecting to pull vision out of my kids? None of us think about that. And you know what, to be honest with you, Krista, had I did not be in business and had I did not have someone plant vision in me 27 years ago, I'd be in your shoes. I would be in the same exact shoes as somebody of, oh, I'm supposed to do that as a mother? Uh-huh. Yes, as a parent.
It was finding those mentors for myself who implanted vision into me
Yeah.
and into my life, and then bringing that into my family, and then attending First Steps to Success and just learning how to bring that out in my children. And so coming home and sitting down with them and talking about dreams and vision and explaining to them, it's what do you want to do in life? Anything is possible, no matter what it is. Nothing is too big. Nothing is too small. Yes. And so they just started saying things. We just wrote them down. And we created this amazing dream board. And we painted the letters, and it says believe, and then on the bottom it says dream. And we wrote down, we each came up with one big one. What do you want to do this year? What do you want to accomplish? And we put that big one right in the middle. And then we had other dreams like that we just wanted to achieve throughout the year, other things that we would think of throughout the month. It wasn't just that day. We added to it. And really what was awesome was every time to watch my child come home from school and go up to that board and check something off. Yes. Because they achieved it.
Yes. And that is so exciting. You know what, Krista? You're a real mom, a real leader, a real woman. And I am so blessed to hear the testimony of you leading and pulling vision out of your kids. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
What you see is what you get. What you hear is real. This is not a test. It's real life and how to deal with what comes at you every day. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. The most common question I get usually are from people who are trying to juggle their life. They've got kids who are involved in all kinds of activities. They've got business or their job, finances, trying to get out of debt, plus all their church activities and all the volunteer activities. And they're pulling their hair out going, how do I juggle this all? Man, I once lived just like that until I learned Time Secrets. Time Secrets showed me how to be able to cut my hours from 100 hours a week that I was working down to 20 hours a week and tripled my income as a direct result with what I learned. Time Secrets also showed me how to get my priorities in order, which healed up my marriage. And I became a mother that I was proud of versus becoming the mother I didn't want to be. And so if you feel like your world is running around in all kinds of different circles, you can fix that. Call 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880 for Time Secrets.
We're back. Here's Dani Johnson.
You know, so often we kind of have this expectation. It's a unspoken expectation that somebody else is supposed to help our kids become successful. Either that or either someone's born to be successful or they're not. Well, I'm so sorry if you believe that, but you couldn't be the furthest from the truth. If that's your thought, that's your belief system, that is so false, it's unbelievable. Why? Hello, I was born in a violently abusive, drug-infested home, okay, on welfare. I was destined for every wrong statistic that is available. I had dyslexia as a kid. Didn't read my first book till I was 21 years old. I was trained to fail financially, trained to fail relationally. My parents beat the snot out of each other and beat us. Okay, listen to me. I wasn't destined for success, but here I sit today, have had a crazy amount of success in my life with lots of crazy failures as well. Success is not born, it's built. It's built. And it starts with vision. And it is up to you and I to plant vision in the next generation. Because right now, they don't have vision. They have junk food and video games. They have pornography that they're addicted to. They have drugs that's killing their creativity, robbing them of their life. They're stuck on stupid entertainment that the television is feeding their brains with that is causing them to be nothing. But your kid has got to have vision if our next generation is going to be better than the current one. And what's so sad is that the current generation of parents, they don't have vision. Therefore, they are not pulling vision out of their kids either. So that's what I'm stirring you about today. Here on the Dani Johnson Show, 7 days a week, we talk about success. We're teaching you how to succeed, as we have taught hundreds of thousands of people from around the world through our training seminars, First Steps to Success, just like the next one that's coming up in Austin, Texas. You got to check it out. You need to be trained up to succeed financially in your business or your career, in your relationships. I know that the reason why you listen to the show is because there's something inside of you that says there's got to be more than what I'm living, and you're right, there is. So this is a recheck on vision. What is your vision? More importantly, what are you doing to spur vision in the next generation? We've got line 3, Melissa from Kansas. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, Dani. A couple weeks ago, I got my kids' notebooks and a bag of colored pencils and told them that either write it in words or draw it in pictures or whatever, but whatever you want to be, money's no issue.
Yep.
Just start dreaming in your notebook.
Yep.
Up until a year ago, I quit dreaming. So when somebody told me to get my notebook and do it, I was like, I'm sitting here doing this. I really need to get my kids to do it too.
That's right. So, Melissa, let me ask you something. So you said up until a year ago, you had no dream. How did that feel to have no dream?
It was horrible. I mean, it was living day to day, just in a daze, like you're stuck somewhere and you weren't ever going to get anywhere better than where you're at.
It's almost like you're floating out in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. No islands anywhere near in your eyes view. Right? Just kind of floating.
Exactly.
Yep. How did you feel about yourself when you had no vision?
Well, I felt like I let my husband down because when we got married, I was supposed to help him make his life better. And that our 6 kids were destined to go nowhere, too.
Wow. So you felt like you let your husband down. You felt like you let your kids down. You felt like you were floating out in the middle of nowhere. Isn't it sad that many parents feel this way, and they stay feeling that way, and they pass that down to their kids? Melissa, I am so proud of you. I am so pleased. My heart is overwhelmed with joy that you listened to someone else that said, pull out a notebook and start writing. What do you want to do with your life? What do you want to do with your life? Really?
Yeah, I went and got that book, Purpose Driven Life, because one of your CDs I have told me to.
Wow. And
my husband and my kids, I have your CDs playing constantly. And they asked me the other day, they're like, how many times are you going to play this CD? And I said, until I get it.
Wow. But I'm really proud of you that you decided to write down that vision, that you're pressing play, right? It's amazing when you're listening to CDs and someone's planting vision inside of you, you start going, okay, I'm going to do it. Okay, I'm going to do it. But more importantly, now you're grooming the next generation to have vision and to dream and to go after something because you know the effects of when you don't. You feel like you're letting people down. You feel like you're aimlessly walking through life. You're cloudy. You're confused. You don't have confidence. You feel like you have barely enough breath in your lungs just to stay alive. Versus, right? Seriously, you feel like there's a lack of oxygen, right? That's how you feel.
My momentum was completely gone, and all I wanted to do was sleep.
Yep. Because it doesn't take all that much breath to sleep now, does it? Versus to run a race.
Yep.
Yeah. Melissa, I'm proud of you. I'm really, really proud of you. Thank you so much for sharing. And you really are a real mom, a real leader. Yeah. You're a real woman. Because a real woman, a real leader, and a real mom pulls vision out of their kids and will live with vision themselves so they set a better example for the next generation. Thanks so much for sharing. It's absolutely awesome. If you were here, I'd be hugging your neck right now, just strangling that breath out of you. I'd be going, you go, girl. I'm really, really proud of you. Thanks to Melissa for sharing. Okay, we've got Susan from Wisconsin. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Dani.
Hi.
As for vision for my daughter, from the time she could talk, we've talked about the things that she wanted, and I always encouraged her that she can have anything she wants. And that's what keeps her focused on what she wants. But
Yeah.
I've never once told her, you can't do that, or that's not possible. I've never said that once.
Good job.
But there's a lot of people out there that do tell her that a lot because she has anxiety so bad, but she has a vision to go to college.
Mm-hmm.
She was struggling really bad in school to the point where she was ready to just quit.
Mm-hmm.
In one day after I prayed to God to put her life back on track for her, she was able to go into a new school the next day with the right hours and everything.
Wow.
Perfect for her.
Wow.
So now because she lost that vision for a minute there.
Yep.
She was just going to quit high school.
Yep.
Somebody else did that to her, and I get mad. I can't control that. But,
Yep.
But he did it. He put her there. She applied for a job because I told her, if you're going to live your dreams.
Yep. You're going to have to work for him.
Get out where you want. Get out and learn.
Yeah.
Work where you can learn what you need to learn.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
That's right on. That's absolutely right on. And you know what? Every vision, every dream is going to require work. And every dream and every vision always has opposition to the vision. Always. If there's no opposition to the vision, it's not a real vision. That's the bottom line. If we don't have opposition coming against our vision, that means we don't have a vision. That's really what it means. And so it's important to use vision as something to cause our kids to grow in their character, to persist, to stay committed, to readjust, right? Because we do get off track. All humans get off track. But that when we get off track, we got to get back right on track. This is Dani Johnson. We're talking about grooming the next generation for success with vision, because a man without a vision will perish. A generation without a vision will perish. It's our job to spur that on. This is Dani Johnson.
Don't just stand there. Soak this up. It's joy, it's encouragement, it's insight to a better life and how to meet your obligations and overcome obstacles.
The Dani Johnson Show.
This is The Dani Johnson Show.
I just heard this amazing story. One of our clients had written us telling us that they had used job domination and unlimited success and has absolutely exploded their career. He said, Dani, I don't know where I'd be today without job domination and unlimited success. Listen, do you want more recognition from your coworkers? Do you want to be recommended to people all over the world? Do you want to be somebody that is highly sought after? Listen, if you're in a dead-end place where this gentleman found himself, but then learned new strategies and changed everything in his work life, and obviously this has resulted in higher bonuses and pay raises. You're next. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of Job Domination right now. 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880. Job domination, that's what you need. It's time for you to dominate the job market and break through the rut that you're in.
Get ready for Dani Johnson.
Get ready for some powerful strategies financially.
Get a grip on your finances.
2% of the population will do well financially.
Only 2%?
Learn how to unlock the financial kingdom.
Dani's got the keys. Finances, love, life, relationships.
Listen in right now to The Dani Johnson Show.
The Dani Johnson Show.
Welcome to Hour 2 of The Dani Johnson Show. We're really blessed that you've decided to join us today. And I pray that you decide to join us every single day, because 7 days a week on radio or television, you can find this program as well as on our website, DaniJohnson.com, where we tackle success. We define it. You define success for yourself, because you know that there's a destiny calling out to you, just as there is one calling out to me. And everything in our lives is either trying to take us off of the path of reaching our destiny, distracting us, pulling us, pushing us, whatever. There's all different types of things that try to keep us away from that destiny. And so here on The Dani Johnson Show, every single day of the week and 24/7 at the website, DaniJohnson.com, as well as our Facebook page, we tackle those things that are tackling you. You see, number one, you've got to have a vision. That's what we've been talking about today here on The Dani Johnson Show. We've been having various different callers calling in, sharing what happened when they didn't have vision, and vision now that they've planted inside of their kids. Because we're a part of a world today, even a generation of parents and children that have no vision. And when we have no vision, I'm sorry to tell you the truth, people perish. I believe there's a whole generation of parents that have no vision, a whole generation of kids that don't have vision. Where is this going? You see, it's impossible to succeed financially or in business, with your career, in relationships, with your health. It's impossible to succeed if you don't know where you're going, if you don't decide in advance what you want to do with yourself. I got to read you the story that came across my desk from Heidi Bloomer. You see, prior to First Steps to Success, She's a faithful listener here to the Dani Johnson Show. You'll see her plugging in on our Facebook page, Dani Johnson Live, as well as Twitter. But Heidi wrote us on Facebook saying I attended First Steps to Success in San Antonio. We have one coming up in January in Austin, Texas. Is the next time that you can attend the event. And she says, in sharing what I learned with my family, she says, we have paid off 2 of our 4 credit cards, which is a total of $8,557 worth of debt in just 2.5 months. This is on top of the family taking a family vacation to the Caribbean. So she learned in those 2 days how to be able to annihilate 2 credit cards of a total of $8,500 on top of take her family on a Caribbean vacation. Now see, that woman got a vision at First Steps to Success. And what follows a vision is a plan. And see, well, also what she's done as a mother, as a wife, a real mother, a real wife, a real leader, was to now impart this into the family. You see, I see all the time people were just like myself when I started off in business 27 years ago with no vision. I had no idea what I was going to do with my life. Come on, I was 19 years old. What am I going to be when I grow up? I don't know what I'm going to be when I grow up. I didn't have, here's what I did know. I didn't want to be like my family. That's all I knew. I did not want to be a drug addict. I did not want to be an alcoholic. I did not want to be an adulterer. I did not want to be a child abuser. I did not want to be a child molester. That's what I knew I didn't want, but I had no clue of what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go, who I wanted to be. And thank God that I got introduced to a whole community of business people that began to plant vision in me and show me that anything is possible. When I began to read success stories of various different people, like the Marx Brothers, all these inventors, all these things that these people created, it was like, they're human and they're able to do this. Or even learning success stories of business owners. It was shocking to see that anybody could succeed, that their background had nothing to do with it, the color of their skin, their race, their religion, none of that. Nothing was in common with all these successful people. But they all had vision. They had something they wanted to do. And sometimes vision is imparted by other people. Other people, they got vision that just exudes out of them. I was the one that needed someone to plant vision in me. And once I had vision planted in me and I began to feed that vision, that's when I started to go after that vision. So I don't know about you. I don't know if you've spent any time, looking around life today and looking at our population, but I can tell you this. There's a lot of lack of vision out there. There is. Parents have no vision. Kids have no vision. And without vision, we can't have success. So in defining success for you today, I'm challenging you. What is the vision for your life? What is the vision for your health? What vision do you have for your relationships? What vision do you have for your finances, for your career? Or do you want to be an entrepreneur? Are you one? How far do you want to go? What do you want to do? What vision do you have for giving back into your community? Taking care of the homeless or the poor right there in your city? What about maybe freeing kids out of the sex trade or building orphanages, joining me on helping to build orphanages or helping to rebuild cities that have been demolished by earthquakes? Okay, what is your vision? I challenge you today. Where I'm at this stage in the game is I have to constantly challenge myself with more vision. And why? Because, this kid went from, broke and homeless 24 years ago come December. 24 years ago, I was a broke, homeless, fat chick. I know that just offended you. Get over it. That's what I was. That's what I was. I was the fat girl. Okay? Yeah, fat girl with, the elastic weights that is totally spread out. I was the fat girl who was suicidal. I was also the drinker, the druggie. Yeah, and the chick that was sleeping around with anybody that would have me. Almost became a prostitute, literally. Okay? So if I could go from that to my first year in business making $250,000, and by the end of my second year, I made my first $1 million, and today I'm multi-millionaire, best-selling author, international speaker. I speak all over the world helping people to succeed in business, finance, and in their relationships. Come on now, friend. That's an impossibility. It is. But it goes to show you that a man with vision will succeed, or a woman with vision will succeed. I use my life today to help people like you, everyday average people, sitting around listening to a show. Get off the couch, get a piece of paper and a pen, and start writing. Where are you going with your life? Because at this stage of my life, I've accomplished far more than I ever thought was imaginable. Mother of 5, grandmother of 7. traveled all over the world, okay, helping people. We feed thousands of orphans every single month. We're freeing kids out of the sex trade. We're taking care of the elderly. We're building schools. We're helping to regenerate dead places. Come on. So whether you're at the top of your game or you haven't even begun in the game, you got to have vision. You got to have it. You won't succeed without it. If you're in a rut, it's time to pull out a piece of paper and a pen and start jotting it down. What do I want to do? What am I going to do for the next chapter of my life? Because a book is being written on your life. What's the next chapter going to be? What is it? And more importantly, we've got to plant vision in the next generation. We have to. Because if they have no vision, an entire generation is going to perish. And who are we going to blame? There'll only be one to blame, and it's us. It's us. Because on our watch, we didn't do our job leading with vision. So how are you planting vision in the next generation? That's what we're talking about today. How are you doing it? What steps are you taking? Line 5, we've got Sherilyn from Rhode Island.
Hi, Dani. Thank you so much for all that you do. You ask the right questions and the thought-provoking questions, and thank you for those. My son has always had vision. I don't know if it's because we've always told him he could be whatever he wanted to be. Mm-hmm. But what I find right now is the steps he has to take to get there.
Yep.
We had to pull him out of school because he was having a difficult time. He's supposed to be going into the 7th grade, and my son has Asperger's and ADHD. We had never let him use that as an excuse.
Good job. Good job.
But he was tested at a 4th grade level, so we pulled him out of school. Mm-hmm. He hates to do certain things like math. Yep. And I will say to him, Michael, what do you desire to be when you grow older? And sometimes it changes. He wants to do kind of what you're doing. Hmm. He also wants to be a pastor. He wants to go into the Marines. He wants to be in a Christian rock band. I said, Michael, the only thing you need to do right now is learn this stuff, because you won't be able to get to those things if you don't focus on what you're doing right now.
Yep.
I mean, he's got a vision for his wife, for his, he's only 12.
That's so awesome.
He has lots of vision.
Yeah.
But it's the step by step. I love what that woman said about making that vision board.
Yes. Yes. But
brilliant.
Sherilyn, let's talk about this, because there's something that is a common denominator between all the things that he says he wants to be. The first time I asked my first son this question, he said, I want to be a hockey coach. And I'm like, oh, okay, right? So I'm like, okay, tell me more about that. Get your son to talk about the idea of being a pastor and what he likes about that. Get him to talk about that. See, it's one of those things, I want to be a pastor. Then the conversation stops. No, the conversation cannot stop. Okay, what do you want to be? I want to be a Marine. Okay, then the conversation stops. No, tell me what it is that you like about the idea of being a pastor or being a Marine and of the various other things that you said that your son, these different things that he says that he wants to be. Draw more tangible evidence out, because you'd be surprised at the things that he is attracted to. And the more that those things can be defined, now the vision will stir him to break the barrier of math. You see, just saying it, I like cookies. Great. That really doesn't do anything. Do you know what I mean? So that there has to be...
He wants to help people. That's what it is.
Exactly right. And he wants to lead, actually. He wants to lead. So it's a leadership position that is helping, guiding, and directing people. It's a leader is what he desires, right? So I want
I'm trying to develop that in him now.
Exactly. But how that's going to be developed, how that gets developed is by you getting him to talk about it. Get him to add legs and paint a picture of what it looks like, what it sounds like, exactly how he's going to do it. And who is he going to pastor? Who are the people that are in his church if that's what he wants to be? You have to get him to start visualizing it by talking about it, okay? Not just visualizing pie in the sky. I'm just saying, like, let's add dimension, layers, texture to what he's saying. And so as you begin to pull those things out, now it becomes more real to him and not so far away. And now what you do is that you now break it down to, here you are in the 7th grade, and you are surrounded by a people. The same kind of people that might be in your congregation someday, or the same kind of people that you'll be leading as a Marine in your unit someday. Because all of those men that you'll be working with, or those families that you'll be leading, they were once in a school hating math too. So the reason why you're going to break this barrier is so you can teach them how to break the barriers that are in their life. Sherilyn, I hope that helps you. This is Dani Johnson. Brilliant. You're welcome. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
The Dani Johnson Show, helping people just like you make life more enjoyable and rewarding. The Dani Johnson Show.
You want to succeed, right? But you do not want to fail God at the same time. There is a way to succeed from a biblical perspective, and it's far greater than anything you could ever imagine. Over 500 scriptures I studied to study money, everything that the Bible said about money. That's in the first couple chapters of Spirit-Driven Success. Not to mention leadership, working with people, growing a career, being used mightily in the marketplace, which is where Abraham, God used him in the marketplace. And Joseph, God used him in the marketplace. Moses, God used him in the marketplace. Daniel, Solomon, really all of the greats of faith, most of the greats of faith throughout the Bible, they all were in the marketplace, and God wants to show you how you can be used mightily by him in the marketplace. Right here, Spirit-Driven Success is where all of my notes are on how you can do that. 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880. Get your copy of Spirit-Driven Success today.
Giving you the playbook to design your life. This is the Dani Johnson Show. And now, here's Dani.
Nothing becomes dynamic until it becomes specific. Have you ever heard that before? Nothing becomes dynamic until it becomes specific. And if you do not have a specific goal, vision, dream, you'll do nothing with your life. Come on, we see it all over the place. People seem to be running on somebody else's path, somebody else's formula, somebody else's dream, somebody else's life, only to end up completely empty, unsatisfied, feeling useless, worthless. Here on the Dani Johnson Show, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, you have access to learning how to succeed, how to bust through the barriers that you need to overcome so that you can reach the level of success that you desire. Listen, friend, there's a destiny calling out of you. Success is different for everybody. And you have got to define what success is for you. You see, for some of us, we desire, like me, oh gosh, what gets me out of bed are the orphans that we care for every day. That gets me out of bed. It's almost as though I can hear their cries from all over the world, getting kids out of the sex trade. It's as though I can hear and feel their pain. I have no right to live a foolish life when their lives are dependent on my life. I have no right to wallow in self-pity because of some terrible things I'm going through with my husband, or some challenges I might be going on with my kids, or some challenges I'm having with somebody on our staff. I have no right to wallow in my self-pity when I think about Fida and her 9 children in Kadwa, Haiti, that the earthquake destroyed their livelihood, destroyed their food supply, their water supply, and their home. It's almost though I can feel the 9 children at her feet looking up at her with barely any life in their eyes because it's been a couple of days since they've eaten. They haven't had clear, clean, fresh water in years. They've boiled nasty, filthy, disgusting water that has donkey waste in that water. I can almost feel my heart just being gripped and squeezed when I think about being Fida and handing my 3-year-old a cup of this disgusting water that has a chance of killing the 3-year-old, but there's no other choice. You see, for me, that gets me out of bed. It does. Now, in the beginning, 27 years ago, when I first got introduced to business, it was a Mercedes-Benz and spending $4,000 cash in Nordstrom's, and it was about getting lots of recognition. That's what it was 27 years ago. I'm so happy to say I don't live like that anymore. I don't know what your vision is, but if you don't have one, and the story I was just telling you about the kids in the sex trade, or that mother whose heart is just, it feels like there's a knife in her heart knowing that she woke up this morning and had no food to feed her kids. Man, and you want to be a part of the solution? You want to be a part of the miracle that her pastor's been praying for? Her pastor, Joseph, who when I met him, I asked him, what's the needs of your people? With tears in his eyes coming down his weather-worn face. You know what that looks like, right? His beautiful Haitian skin that's been leathered because of the hot beating sun and the dehydration of his body because there's not enough water. As tears are going down his face, they need food. My people need water, and they need a safe home. Wow. You see, that's vision. He's been praying for a miracle. You're the one he's been praying for. I'm one he's been praying for. You and I. He's been praying for you and I to come and bring help, water, food, shelter to his village. Go to kingsransom.org. Again, that's kingsransom.org. And give what you can. You're a miracle. Your life is a miracle. Do you realize that? You live in a lavish country with all kinds of luxuries all around you, especially if you're driving through right now to get your lunch or your breakfast or your snack or your coffee, all of which are luxuries. Listening to this show either on your radio, your stereo with the Bose speakers, or your smartphone, listening to it on the app, the DaniJohnson.com app. Your life is filled with luxuries. You have more clothes than you'll ever need, more junk than you'll ever use, and you have so much food you end up throwing part of it away every day. Listen carefully. Go to kingsransom.org and give some of your luxuries over to a family that needs them. kingsransom.org. Kadwa, Haiti is the project we're working on. Again, that's kingsransom.org, Kadwa, Haiti. Give what you can. Do it now. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with Vision right after this.
You can't be the old person you used to be and the new person you want to become. Let go of the past and hang on for what's new and exciting and about to come into your life. Stay tuned to The Dani Johnson Show. There's more to come.
The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success.
Now, more of The Dani Johnson Show.
There's an entire generation that I believe is in big trouble. That generation's already walking on the planet. And why do I think they're in big trouble? They have no vision. And it's impossible to succeed without vision. It is. Friend, you know it's true. Come on, you've walked around dazed and confused, haven't you? You've walked around with those feelings of hopelessness, not knowing where you're going, feeling like you're stuck out in the middle of the ocean in some little paddle boat without paddles. No sail, no one to rescue you. You know you have felt that before. There are millions of people who feel that right now. In fact, $42 billion is spent on anxiety medication and anxiety disorders, not to mention depression medication. Why? You see, a man without a vision will perish. People who have no vision are full of fear, anxiety, worry. Yeah, thinking about themselves all the time. But see, a man with a vision will succeed greatly. And here on the Dani Johnson Show, every day, 24/7, you have access to this show. You have access to a show that is dedicated to your success, dedicated in showing you how to succeed in every area of your life. And today we are focused on Get back to the basics. What is your vision? More importantly, what vision are you planting into your kids? What vision are you planting into your nieces and nephews, your grandchildren? What vision are you planting into the students maybe that you're teaching at the youth nights or at school? Or if you're a social worker, if vision is not planted in the next generation is going to repeat what this generation has done, which is what? I don't know, gone $13 trillion in debt? Yeah, frivolous, wasteful debt. Yeah, this generation is obese. This generation is, addicted to all kinds of medications and drugs. This generation has hopeless marriages. Our next generation is going to repeat what they have seen and experienced. If we don't get a vision for them and we don't start pulling vision out of them, if we don't encourage them to have vision, they will not have vision, and they're going to whittle away with the rest of their generation of addicted to video games, all kinds of entertainment, listening to all the wrong kind of music, expecting you to fund their life, expecting you to fund their junk food addictions, expecting you to fund their decisions, their whims and their wails, their shopping sprees. That's what they're expecting you to do. And unfortunately, too many parents are actually doing that. If there's a place to invest into your kid, encourage them to dream. Encourage them to have vision. Draw it out of them. So how are you doing that right now with the next generation? Line 6, we've got Darcy from El Paso, Texas. Darcy, welcome to the show.
Hi, Dani. Thank you so much. I'm so humbled that you're allowing us to call in and sharing this with you. My daughter wants to be a bass player in a rock and roll band.
Nice.
She's 15. And I remember when I shared this news with my mom, I thought my mom was going to completely freak out. Not my granddaughter. That's dangerous. Mm-hmm. And, life is dangerous.
It is.
Whatever we do in life, it's going to be full of risks.
Yes.
Controlled or not controlled.
Yeah.
And my daughter's got this God-given talent, and she's got this amazing gift. And when she plays, there's something special about it. And people know it, and people take notice. And she's only been playing for 2 years, and already there's local bands, and one local band in town that's already had her sit in on a gig with them. The news of my mom hearing that I've taken her granddaughter to a bar to listen to a rock band, didn't go over too well.
No.
But, this is her dream, and this is her vision, and I didn't raise her to be a copycat.
Yeah.
I didn't raise her to be a mini-me. I raised her to be an independent woman that will be able to live life on her own and not be codependent or needy.
Yes.
To learn how to stand on her own 2 feet.
Yes. Yes.
And it's not something that's easy because my husband's family does not believe in vision or dreams. They're dream killers. I remember my daughter sitting with her grandmother saying, I want to go to Oxford University, and my mother-in-law saying, well, why? The school here is just as good as any other school. There's no reason to leave this town. And, so I've had to really teach her how to deal with opposition and dream killers because they're out there and they'll be close. They're family members. They'll be friends because people don't understand. But, it can be a battle. It really can. And so we ended up having to take her out of school to homeschool her for about 2 years just to build up her confidence level, to build up her self-esteem, because that's not something you learn in school.
No. Actually, your self-confidence and self-esteem is completely shattered in school.
Exactly. So we took her out because we're her parents, and I don't want her learning that stuff from anybody else from us. And it's got to be instilled, I think, especially for being a rock star. She's going to have to learn that there's going to be people that don't like it.
Yep.
People are very judgmental when you're in the public eye. I think you might be able to relate to that.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Everybody's got an opinion.
Oh, yes.
So my husband and I will sit with her and talk about, okay, you want to be a rock star. Do you understand what that means?
Yep.
It's not glamorous.
No.
It's not a life full of... But all she wants to do is play music on stage, and she understands the crap, I guess you could say, that's going to go with it.
Yeah.
And so we make sure that we surround her with like-minded people that will challenge her, because I think that's important. We need to support our kids, but I think they also need to be challenged.
Yes.
They have to get out of their comfort zone. And
now, hold on one second, Darcy. I'm gonna challenge you with something right now, because I know that I could hear the person right now going, "Your daughter being a rock star? What are you thinking?" Right? Because of course there's a conservative Christian view that's like, "Oh no." Okay, but let me just say this to you, baby. Let me say this to you. I think also you probably are already doing this, but this is what I would challenge you to do, because I have one of my daughters who has a dream to be a rock star. She's not 15, she's 35. And so what I'm going to say is I want you to establish a relationship with your daughter, if you haven't already, about character.
Oh, we do. That's
so
great.
Important about character. And character is developed through disciplines, self-discipline. And so I don't know if you share the same faith that I do or not, that's your call. But as a mother who believes in the best success book ever written, I believe that God could use your daughter as a rock star, as a bass player especially, okay, which is established as a beat. And however, that the enemy wants to sift all of our kids like wheat. Every single one of them. Yes. And so character is developed through disciplines, and disciplines are developed through self-discipline. And so it's establishing a habit of her starting her day living for her God and not for man. And also pointing out that she will be tested by the praises of the people. That'll either give her a big head and she'll have a price tag on her head and will be bought and enslaved by others, or that she will hear the voice of her Creator, the one who will open doors for her that He wants her to walk through, that are confirming the calling that's on her life as a musician and a powerful one, and that this influence is not for her, but the influence is for Him. And that influence is to guide others to Him. I would really strongly recommend that you have her watch Katy Perry's story, who grew up as a homeschooled kid, who grew up loving God with evangelistic parents. Their parents are still this day evangelists. And then Justin Bieber. These are two kids that didn't have the character or the disciplines or the self-discipline to root themselves in their faith and with their God. And because they didn't have it, and when they started to get success, they walked away from their parents' faith and went straight into the faith of Hollywood. Now, those two documentaries show the good, bad, and the ugly of that life. And I am encouraging you to encourage your daughter that you are not going to make the mistakes we've seen others make. You're called to this because you're going to set an example. Here's another thing I want you to do. AMTC. AMTC, Actors, Models, and Talent for Christ. Get a hold of them. They help these kids establish their disciplines, their identity that is not going to be in Hollywood. And these guys have produced very famous musicians, actors, models, people in the fashion industry. They have produced a ton of successful people who live by faith and are known all over the world. And so they're about grooming the character and grooming the talent. They're about spurring and encourage these kids on, for their calling is to perform. That's their calling for their life, and to use that calling in a powerful way. And so they will be a group of encouragers to encourage her in good character, setting a good example and having those priorities straight as she has great success with this ability to perform on stage. And so I can't think of a better group of people for your daughter to be surrounded by except for AMTC. So have her get a hold of them immediately. And I'm so proud of you for not listening to the naysayers and dream killers, because your daughter has a call in her life and you're going to spur her on and you're going to spur her to do great things. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more of the Dani Johnson Show right after this.
Good people bring out the good in people. And you're sharing great moments with thousands of good people right now. There's more of the Dani Johnson Show coming up. Stay here.
This is your chance. This is your shot. Get your copy of War on Debt right now. There's one waiting for you that has your family's name on it. And inside that package is freedom, your family's freedom. is on the inside of that package. All you have to do is open it up, press play, and start applying what I teach you in this program. 888-757-8880. You and I are going to help your family become completely debt-free in the next 5 to 7 years. Just imagine how that's going to feel.
We're back. Here's Dani Johnson.
Dream killers. They should be tied up by their pinky toe and hung from a tree. Especially the dream killers of kids' dreams. I'm not talking about the dreams that kids dream at night. I'm talking about a kid who has a vision. A kid who wants to do something with their life. A kid that wants to do something different. And yet, here they are, the family and the friends. Oh, you can't do that. That ain't ever gonna work. Don't be stupid. What makes you think that's gonna work for you? You ain't got no talent. Ugh. I want to line them all up, tie them up with dental floss around their pinky toe and hang them from a tree. Yes, I do. Upside down. Let all the blood rush to their face so they can get a clue. They're obviously lacking oxygen in their brains. Listen, a man without a vision will perish. A kid without a vision will perish. No small wonder that the #1 drug prescribed in my nation is antidepressants. That is just proof that we are a generation without vision. And we better be stirring vision in the next generation or we're in huge trouble. Huge. Do you know what's going to happen if we continue on the same path that we're in? We have a generation that has no vision, right? They're addicted to video games and junk food. Come on. Entertainment. Come on. You know it's true. You know it is. Okay, and who are they going to vote into office? They're going to vote into office whoever is going to promise them that they don't have to work and they can just sit on their backside. Anyway, I have to bite my tongue right now. I know you can hear it. I'm biting my tongue. Can you hear it? It's bleeding. I'm going to calm down. Yeah, I'm going to calm down right now because I'm going to say something I shouldn't say. I'm going to get in trouble. Yep, I'm going to get slapped. Someone's going to slap me. But it drives me crazy. We have an entire generation that has no vision, and part of it is because we have parents and grandparents and teachers and people all around them going, no, you can't do it. It's never going to work. Just because you don't have vision doesn't mean you should rob somebody else of their vision. Stop that nonsense because no one will succeed without vision. And if people don't have vision, they're going to vote people in office that's going to take care of their lazy butt going nowhere real fast with this entitlement of saying, I don't have enough money. Come on, man. Your little welfare card is giving you more money for food for your family than I feed in 2 months for my family. Give me a break. I'm going to stop now. Now we're going to go to the phones because I think they'll be much nicer than me. Julie from South Dakota, please help me.
Hey,
Get
Dani.
myself in trouble.
Oh, well, I'm actually quite good at that myself. And I
I'm in
have
good company.
got 4 amazing kids ranging in age from 23 down to newly 10. And over the years, I have earned the badge of mean mom many times. And I'm proud of it. It's a badge of honor to me. And every time I hear those words, I'm like, yes, I got it again. Because here's my job. My job is to be your mother and to guide you by the good book and to guide you to good values and morals. It is not to be your best friend. It is not to be the cool mom. It's not to be the one who turns a blind eye and says, but everyone does it. My job is to make you a strong, stable, adult human being someday. And that's a huge responsibility.
Huge.
So for me mom is awesome. And, I'm not without flaw or failures, and I share that with my kids all the time. When I fail, I let them know. When I mess up, I own up to it. I ask for forgiveness.
Good job.
And I think that's huge. That teaches them a lot of lessons in life.
Yeah.
And I'm continually learning. Even with older kids, I'm continually learning. I learn from you all the time. One of the biggest takeaways I've ever had from you, and I've had so many, but this is huge. Don't speak death over your children.
Yes.
And that's so profound when you finally wrap your brain around that and you think back to all of the things that you have done that you wish you could take back. You know you can't. All you can do is apologize.
Yeah.
But I put thought into all of my words now, like no other. And I always think about, too, you've said this to us before, who do you want your children to be receiving the message from?
Yep.
If it's not you, it's going to be someone else. Will
is.
it be the message they need to hear? Because really, we all know it's not our school's job. It's not your neighbor's job. It's not the friend's job to give them the right messages. It's our job.
It is.
And when we become a parent, when we choose to become a parent, we accept that responsibility. And we have a whole generation of kids having that age range. I have the full spectrum.
Yeah, you do.
Of the entitlement generation. And I see it all the time. I hear it all the time. I felt trapped to it for a long time where, okay, you need this. Okay, well, I'll just pay you. I mean, we went for a while without putting a roof on our house or other things we needed because I was paying my grown child's rent. Because I felt
Julie,
I know.
Ooh.
But that I had my awakening there too. And
did you pull your belt off and beat your own butt?
Oh, it was a head banging moment, but it was also when he did something that caused me to stop, and it was the most freeing moment on earth. It was a relief, but on the same token, he did come back to me later and said, "Had you not stopped, I never would have taken responsibility and grown up."
Yeah.
And it's really fun on the flip side to have your adult kids come back and say, you know what? For all the times I was upset with you or angry or kicking a wall or stomping my feet, thank you. Because it really does matter.
Yes.
And I think too many parents now are afraid to be parents.
They are. They are. It's disgusting.
They have to be the friends to their kids, and they're going to turn a blind eye. They'll turn on TV at night and say, it's fine, it's prime time, without taking 3 seconds to see what their kids are viewing and implanting in their minds. Or they'll give them a video game that you and I know can destroy
their minds.
Oh, my gosh.
Their minds.
Don't spend 5 minutes with their child watching or playing the game because it's a game. How bad could it be? So, you know, I think the biggest advice I can give people is be a parent.
Yes,
and
a real one.
Surrounding yourself, a real one.
A real one.
You're surrounding yourself with other parents who do turn the blind eye or who just say, oh, they're just kids being kids. Reassess who you're surrounding yourself with.
Yes.
And learn from people. Be with birds of a feather.
Flock together. They flock together. And unfortunately, most people are flocking with chickens. That's what I'm going to say. They're flocking with chickens, and they need to stop, and they need to grow up and be real parents. Julie, thank you so much. We got another Julie from Iowa on line 1. Wow, Iowa and South Dakota. Amazing. Julie from Iowa, we're about to wrap up the show. I got 1 minute. What's your comments?
Hi, Dani. This is Julie. And I just have a concern for my stepson. He's 23. He has autism, and he has mild intellectual disabilities. He has some grandiose dreams. And, you know, with autism, they get fixed on one thing for a while, and then they'll find something else and get fixed on that for a while.
You know what? I gotta tell you about a story that I heard recently. I was speaking in Houston, Texas, and I encountered a woman who had a booth at a conference that I was doing. And her son is autistic, and he does art with paper, right? So this is because they can focus on something, right? So they have created a business out of this talent that he has, and he's autistic. And it never even occurred to me that there is probably plenty of other people, autistic men and women, who have businesses and are generating income from their autism. And I would encourage you, Julie, to start doing some research, start looking at some success stories, start looking at different ways that people have found a workaround with their autism. Because I know that those stories are out there, and I know that it's important for you to find those and to encourage your 23-year-old son with those types of stories so that you can begin to guide him in that direction. We often will and I don't know the first thing about raising an autistic kid. I really don't, because I haven't been in that situation. But there are other people who have, and I know that there is guidance out there for that. This is Dani Johnson. I hope today you enjoyed this show about vision. You better have one, and we better put it inside the next generation. Join me tomorrow for the next Dani Johnson Show.
We want to thank you for listening to the Dani Johnson Show. We hope you found inspiration, answers, and hope to renew your happiness in life. Join us again on the next Dani Johnson Show.
The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success.